Tony himself said that he knew where the visitors' locker room was, but that it was different to walk in that direction. Do you remember feeling that way, ever finding your way around for the first time to anywhere else in the arena?
Absolutely. First time I went into the visitors' locker room was when I was with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I walked in there.
Wow.
I didn't even know where it was.
Never? Wow.
Never went down there once. Never. I don't think I ever crossed a certain point in the hallway. They were just farther down the hallway. I never went there. I stopped at our place and went in the court. I walked in, I looked around, and I went like, this is where we put the opposing team. It was
not
a rat
nice.
hole. It was really terrible. I was
It
like,
was, yes, it was.
It really was, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
I was shocked. I was like, really?
And very cold, but very warm for his playoff time.
And I chuckled. That was the first time I'd ever been in there. So, yeah, so you find out new things about the place you worked for 13 years.
That's funny. Do you agree that there's been a love-hate relationship with Tony over the years? Because you knew that Timmy was so beloved by all, not only the franchise, but the fans as well. Same thing with Manu. But it's interesting to hear the differing perspective that perhaps that wasn't always the relationship with Tony and his fans.
Well, let's not forget that besides Tim and Manu, there was a guy named David Robinson. Okay, so that
he was pretty good also.
Yeah, so
they loved him.
David's there, who they love, and then Tim comes in, who they love, and Manu, is a favorite. So, and Tony comes in as a 19-year-old. So, you got to wait your turn. You're that next child in line. You got to wait your turn.
Yeah, and I think what happened too is that, Tim was always just rock steady, even his rookie year, didn't make mistakes and stuff. I think Pops kind of got with Manu, like, the more I coach him, the worse he gets. I'm just going to have to just let Manu go.
Yeah.
And he's going to do some stuff that's going to, just make me just want to jump up and down, but I'm just not going to do it. So Tony got the brunt of all of that stuff. So Tony was kind of, Pops got on Tony a lot, like, watching him and just watching that whole dynamic. There were a lot of times Tony caught the brunt of Pop's anger because he didn't say much to Timmy and Manu. But I think through all that, he became a better player. As we talked about, he made mistakes early, and his game was kind of ratty. His jump shot wasn't there, and he took some shots and did some stuff. But slowly but surely, Pops just kind of molded him and just kept him going in this direction, but taking his game from here to here. Talked about him being leading the paint, or leading the league in paint points. That guy could finish around the rack. He was an amazing finisher of the basketball for a little guy in there. But so I think, I think sometimes his road is a little bit more rugged than Tim and Manu's. And probably he had more, I can tell you what, he had more headbutting with Pops than any of those guys did.
And what's funny is I was in San Antonio just a couple of weeks ago, and Coach Pop told us prior to our TNT broadcast that Tony had called him recently and said that he was way too easy on the young guys. He's like, that's not how you treated me. What's happened here? Softened up a little bit.
Remember, early on when he first came in to join that team, Pop molded him into running the show and get the ball to these other people. Because on that same team, besides David Robinson, Tim Duncan, you still had Smitty, was on that team back then. Steven Jackson was on the team back then. Manu was on the team. So it wasn't Tony's job to, I have to add my points to this group. This group's going to get points.
Right.
You get the ball to them at the right time. You run the show, you run the break, and let's start to develop you as a defensive player at the other end of the floor. And then as guys moved on, and then it became a little more scoring burden on Tony, and that's what happened.